I understand that there is a procedure before somebody with the suspicious that person is missing. They
Yes.
have to wait a number of hours.
24 hours, yeah, something like that.
Can they reach a private investigator before?
They can reach a private investigator at any time. I mean, faster, earlier it is, better it is, because I always say, it's very difficult to find somebody after 72 hours. Okay? That's my experience. After 72 hours, a lot of stuff can happen. Distance, you can travel very far in 72 hours, and it's going to be very difficult to be found. Okay? It depends also, we have to understand the situation. When somebody's calling me for a missing person, I like to understand the situation. I like to understand what really happened, the story behind this, and then we can see what's going on. And
Here, the expert Victor Elbeze, private investigator of South Florida and the world. And today we have a special episode for you.
Yes, today we're going to talk about a missing person. I mean, a private investigator. A lot of time we receive phone call for someone who's looking for a parent's missing person. It could be a brother, sister, mother, father, and child. Okay, so it's unfortunately we receive a lot of phone call like that, family member looking for somebody, and they lost contact or someone ran away and they can't find them. Those people disconnected and from the planet. I mean, it's very strange. Sometimes it's voluntary because they want to run away from their past, their family. Sometimes it's not voluntary. Sometimes it's because something happened. Something happened. It could be an accident. It could be somebody got murdered, disappear, kidnapping, human trafficking. So there's a lot of possibility when somebody is going missing.
So I understand that there is a procedure before somebody with the suspicious that person is missing. They
Yes.
have to wait a number of hours.
24 hours, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Can they reach a private investigator before?
They can reach a private investigator at any time. I mean, faster, earlier it is, better it is, because I always say, it's very difficult to find somebody after 72 hours. Okay? That's my experience. After 72 hours, a lot of stuff can happen. Distance, you can travel very far in 72 hours, and it's going to be very difficult to be found. It depends also, we have to understand the situation. When somebody's calling me for a missing person, I like to understand the situation. I like to understand what really happened, the story behind this, and then we can see what's going on. And I had a guy call me because his wife disappeared. Okay, and they were looking for her, and she was under medication, and she was suffering from paranoia and schizophrenia. She was not doing well, and she was always thinking that the government was watching her, following her. So she was under medication. When she was taking her medication, everything was good. She was not thinking that way. And then when she stopped the medication, she was going out of control. Now you're looking for somebody for a specific reason. So, she's an older woman. She's suffering from some disorder. You have the vehicle. We find the car, but nothing in the car. Okay. And it was in Miami Beach. And then we search. We had a team. I had like 2-3 person working with me with flyers. And we were looking and we were walking around a different park. Okay. Because when somebody has this kind of problem, they have tendency to look and hide, and they're not going to go to specific public, very busy place. They're going to like park, things like that. And we were looking for her. And from there, we call the shelter. We call shelters, because sometimes she can be picked up by by employee, police department, hospital. Maybe something happened. She got hurt. She ended up in the emergency somewhere. So we call hospital, we call shelters, we call police department as well. And we go to library also, because I found a lot of missing person in library, because a lot of them, they don't have a cell phone, they don't have a computer, but they still want to be looking around for what's going on. They go to the library and they have access to the computer. Library, it's a place where I found few people. It's very surprising. It doesn't surprise me anymore, because they disappear when they give news, when they want to get in touch with some, they go to those kind of places, library.
Sure. Do you work alongside with the police department when you are pursuing?
Yes, yeah, we do. Well, after 24 hours, there is a case, missing person. So the police has been have a case assigned. So usually we get in contact with the detective. We exchange information. We tell them where we are, where we do. We have boots on the floor, on the ground. So we have manpower. We're looking for this person. They like it. They get in touch.
They appreciate
it, and we exchange information.
Okay, this is very useful, because the first thing that a lot of people don't understand is that there is help besides just going to a cop and waiting.
Look, we work for you. We are going to create flyers. We are going to walk around. We are going to follow the trail from different points. So we have people on the floor working for you. Police department, it depends on, like, if it's a young baby or a child, they have... they look for, but they have volunteer people sometimes. But we are really, that's all we do. Okay, police department, they have other cases. They have other things.
Correct.
So they're not 100% focusing on your case. Okay, we are. All right. So it's a little different. Now, sometimes we talk to witnesses. We talk to friends. We talk to family members. We have social media. We use social media. We post the poster here and there. We go to place businesses, coffee shop, we put a poster, we talk to people, we show the photo. And sometimes that's where, let me tell you, that's funny, because we were in Miami Beach and we arrived in 71st and Collins, and there is a lot of coffee shop, bakery, restaurant. Then we were going and sending flyers. And all of a sudden that this young girl, she said, "Oh, I know this woman." What do you know? What do you mean? How do you know her? I say, "No, I saw her. She was staying and sitting on the bus stop. And she was sitting here and she was talking to other people." And she said, and then she stayed there for few hours, because the bus stop was right there, and she was a waitress at the cafe just across of the bus stop. And she noticed that this woman, she was staying hours, and she was bothered by men, because she's a blonde lady with long hair, attractive ladies. And she said, what shocked me, she had very expensive clothes, look expensive. And she had a Prada purse, expensive purse. So, and then she gave me description of that. So I called my client and he said, "Hey, do you know exactly what kind of purse, colors, brand, this and that?" And everything was matching, though. It was her. And she said she stayed a few hours. And then we went to the bus and we see where the bus were going direction. And we find her. Like, she went to Miami Beach to downtown Miami. Downtown Miami, she took another bus. We find out later, because down the road, we went there again. We took the bus. We follow her trail. We spoke with other people, and she changed her bus, and she took a bus who took her to Key Biscayne, which is a very nice location. And from Key Biscayne, we say that where she's going there, because this is not a big city. Key Biscayne is there is some restaurant, there is some stuff, but this is not something with there is water. It's an island, that. It's a luxury place too, because you have very expensive hotels. From the bus, we find out that she was dropped at a specific place. It was like a small coffee shop. And we went to talk to those people. And across of the coffee shop, there's a big hotel. There was the Westin Hilton. And I say, that's funny because what she was doing here, why she will go to Key Biscayne unless she knows something. And I call her husband and son, and I say, we are stuck. We are in Key Biscayne. I don't know where she's going to be because there is nothing there. She was seeing in a coffee shop, but from there we lost trace. And he said, wait a minute, what did you say she is? I said, I don't know, Key Biscayne. Where in Key Biscayne? I say, like, there's the coffee. I give him the address. He say, there is an hotel that she liked to go. She loved this hotel. My wife liked to go on the weekends a few times. We used to take weekends out of our routine and rent a room at the Hilton Hotel on the water here. And then, okay, so I say, okay, so we might have a hit here. So the guy came and the son and the husband came over and we were there as well. And we went to the reception of the hotel. He came with a photo. He said, this is my wife. She's missing. I have a hard feeling she might be in your hotel, staying in your hotel. And the concierge says, yes, she booked a room here, and she had the American Express credit card. So she booked a room. And the husband checked right away the credit card system on the phone to see where she used the last time she used the credit card, she used the card. And that's the only time she used her American Express is when she booked the hotel. So we find this person, we find her, everything was well. She was panicking and she was scared. And all of a sudden she came back to reality because those people, they have this kind of disease in and out, So, but that was a spectacular search because we were lucky. It's amazing. When that happened, the satisfaction for a private investigator, it's very good. It's amazing when you can assess the work that we did and how patient we were and the circumstances and the communication between you and the family that make happen. I'm not saying, thank God we did the job, we find her. Yes, we find her at the first place, but he will find out if he checked the credit card system that she was checking there at the end. It's only when we went to Key Biscayne and I told him where we were, that's when something pop up and he said, yes, she loved that place. We used to spend a lot of time there.
Yeah, I don't think there is another sector of the private investigation world that will take more emotional energy and talking of from you as an investigator. And so it goes with the worry and it goes with the satisfaction if you get to the outcome and it's a positive outcome like you are.
Yeah. But this is not always the case. A lot of time it's very difficult to find them. One thing I did also, I had this man disappear and the sister were looking for this guy. She was looking for him and she could not find him. But she was receiving email from him once in a while. And she knew he was around Pompano Beach or Fort Lauderdale. And I say, okay, so can you tell me when you receive an email, can you send me, a copy of the email or something, like we can maybe track the IP address of the email, where the email was sent from. And with my expert team of cybercrime, and then we find the IP address. And again, like I was talking about it earlier, the gentleman was also, he had issues, mentally issues, and he was upset. He wanted to cut communication with the family and he had issues, and we find out the IP address was Pompano Beach Library.
So a library is a place where you have a couple of hits.
Absolutely. I have this name. I had a photo of him, so I could identify him. So what I do, I went to the library, and I wait in the library. And I asked the client, I say, how many times a day you receive an email from him? Say, yeah, once every day, once every 2 days, but mostly lately, every day, he's sending me some messages, and he doesn't want to tell me where he's at. I go to the library and I look. You come to that big room with all the computer and people, you can use a computer. You give your ID and they give you authorization to use a computer, go on internet, and it's limited, like maybe an hour or 30 minutes. I don't know exactly. And I go there, I speak with the lady at the library. I show the pictures. I tell her I'm a private investigator. I'm looking for this gentleman. His family is worried. He has a medical disorder. And he ran away, and they want to know where he's at. And, we trace the IP address that he's been using computer in your facility, and she looks at the photo and she says, yes, he comes every day. So I knew he was coming here every day. So, which is good. I don't have to spend hours, many hours surveillance and waiting for him. So I knew he was coming mostly every day. So, and the same day that I was there, I decided to wait, and I wait like maybe an hour and a half, and I saw him coming. He went, he sit down, he was on the computer. I approached him, I sat next to him, and I called him by his name. He was surprised, he was looking at me, and I show him my credential, and I tell him I'm a private investigator. I was hired by your sister, tell the name of his sister, and your family is very worried about you, and they would like to make sure you're okay. So that's the only reason I'm here. And they also want to talk to you on the phone. I have your sister on the line. Do you want to talk to her?
Sure.
And he was shocked that I find him like that. He was a little, but when you show, like you say, you're a private investigator, they're like, oh, that's serious thing, and they complied. He complied with me, and he was very nice, very soft, very good guy. And he spoke with his sister. They were crying on the phone. And you know what? Before you know it, they were reunited. They were together. And she came over, she hugged him, and they decided to help each other. Okay. Well, I was super happy that I did the job in one day. Took me one day, few hours, Why? Because when you have a mind of a private investigator, you know where to look and how to look.
You think outside the box.
Yeah, you think outside the box, and you're not only looking at something, you see something. It's different. You can look at something and not seeing. It's different.
I like that. Could you elaborate on that? I like that a lot. Please elaborate on that. What is the difference between looking at something and seeing something?
Okay, I look in front of me, but that doesn't mean I see you. I'm looking there. I'm looking in front. I'm looking to something. You're here. You are right there, but I'm not seeing you. I'm looking for something else. You understand? So you need to learn how to see things coming. And for that, it's true, you have to think out of the box.
So that's an edge that a private investigator has.
Yeah, because we do that for living. We do that everything. So we train our mindset to see differently than other people. Our job is to look for stuff, look for person, look for crime, look for money, look for, embezzlement, look for a cheating situation, looking for counterfeit products in the market. We look for the best interest of our client. So we are trained for that. That's what we do.
Right. Does it help as a private investigator to have a background of intelligence?
Yes, of course.
I understand that you have a background of intelligence.
Yes.
Has that helped you to be successful at finding people?
Yes, of course. Intelligence is it's information. Okay, so it's, you don't need to be a police officer. You don't need to be an FBI agent, ex-police officer to become a private investigator. That's nothing to do. It helps because you have a detective mind. You're doing that for many years. You're working for the government. We're working for a police department. I know a lot of police officers, they don't do investigation. They are patrolling the street. That's different. So that doesn't mean they're going to be very good in doing investigation. I always say, if you like what you do and if you put yourself in, you're going to be good at what you do. Okay? Now, there's a process of learning. And the only learning process, it's you have to be in the middle of the action. You cannot learn this job in school. I have an example. I had a young lady who came to me a few years ago and she said, I'm a private investigator. I say, well, nice. What kind of license you have? And she said, I have a C license. I say, good. C license. It's a regular private investigator, confirm, which means you are in business. Okay. And then you have the CC license, which is an internship private investigator. It takes 2 years. You have to do a 2 years internship with a CC license to become a C license. So you need to have at least 2 years of experience as a private investigator to become a C license. Or you have to prove that you have at least 2 years of police work or any investigation work for any department. The other way to do it is to have a degree or bachelor degree on criminal injustice. Then they can give you the license. But this is the tricky part. You have no experience. You only learn
The books.
the books. You went to school, you spent 4 years studying for criminal injustice, which is great, which is unbelievable. This is amazing career. But this is not enough. And this lady came to my office and she said, I'm do this, I'm do that, do this, and do that. I said, okay. You know me, I like to hear what you have to say, but I like to see if your acts are going to be behind your words. And obviously, she knew nothing. And she was telling me, we don't need to do surveillance. We don't need to watch people. We can do everything from the computer. Today, we can go on social media. We can do Facebook, Instagram. You don't need to do surveillance. And I tell her, I say, no, you're wrong. You need to do surveillance. We need photos. We need videos. We need, following people. We need to do investigation. You need to go ask questions to people. Oh, but we can call on the phone. We can call this person. I say it's not the same when you talk to somebody on the phone. It's easy for them to hang up the phone. But when you're face to face with somebody, there is more than communication. There is energy. There is credibility. There is act of emergency that you can express when you face somebody. You can't do that. And she was horrible and a great girl and everything. She was good for research. Yes, she was doing a lot of research and, background check, due diligence. She was good for that. Doing a report, making reports. Great. But on the field, zero. So it's not enough. It's not enough. You need experience.
What are 3 skills?
No, go ahead.
What are the top 3 skills that you must have to find a missing person?
Okay, number 1, common sense. Common sense, it's very important. If you don't have common sense, it's going to be... Now, you have to be patient. Patience, it's very important because you can't rush action when you're looking for somebody because you can miss something. And something very important that can give you the solution and the position of that person. That's very important.
And the third one?
And the third one, the resources. Resources mean the budget to look for someone. So as you know, private investigators don't work for free. We are paid by the hours. And when we put boots on the ground, we have to pay everybody. And sometimes it can take very long hours to find somebody. If you don't have the resources, if you don't have the client who can afford the search, it's going to be difficult. Okay? Unless you
do a GoFund.
Yeah, but a lot of time when I'm looking for someone, I spend more times than that I charge my client because I feel bad too. See, I always say that it could happen to me, to my family, my son, my daughter, my mom. So a lot of time we do a lot of extra work and
pro bono.
We start from some money, then down the road say, okay, we're going to help you, we're going to do that. But it has to be realistic too. We can't always,
It takes resources.
Yeah.
It takes resources. It takes time, and it takes skills to be present and have the mindset to be the guy who is going to find that missing person.
Yeah. So then we have other case. Sometimes it's very more like dramatical. It's teenager disappearing because they're not happy in their house. The household is not doing great. The mom and dad fight. They're getting divorced. Maybe there is a lot of problems.
This is a good moment to ask you this question. What are the red flags that you recommend parents and people in general to look out for a behavior that will hint that somebody is capable of, taking the road or just running away?
The problem is the red flag. Always watch who your child is hanging out with. Okay. The problem, it's not always the child. It's the person who's friend with, or boyfriend, or girlfriend, or a friend. Okay. they are usually, that's where the problems start. There is a phrase, some famous guy say, show me who are your friend and I will tell you who you're going to be in 5 years. And it's true. I believe in that. If you hang out with 5 idiots, you're going to be the 6th idiot. If you hang out with 5 smart person, you're going to be the 6th smartest person in the room. It's very important that to understand, to watch and make sure that your children has the right frequentation, the right friends, because that's having a lot of influence on them. They are creating a special bond to each other. And, child is a teenager. He's not the 5, 6 years old that you used to see and was depending on you and holding your hand. And when he was scared, he was going after you, things like, no, at that age, they are running away from you. You have to be very attentive. You have to have a very good communication. Yelling at them is not always the right thing to do. Communication, talking, spending time. I noticed, unfortunately, I'm from Europe originally. I'm from Paris, from France. And I was raised in a very strong family. And every day we used to have dinner together, sitting at a table, okay? That was a must. And I noticed in the United States, I've been here for more than 25 years, and I'm seeing a lot of people don't share dinner time or a meal with their family member because they're on the run, because they're busy. They have to run a business, which is good. It's America. It's American dream. People are making money. Work is everywhere. Something that people do.
Correct.
And they forgot to sit down for 1 hour, 2 hours with their family and have dinner, share a good food, talk about what happened during the day. If you don't talk about what happened during the day with your family member or your child, you won't see coming anything, any problem they can face. They can be bullied at school, you will never know. They can be sexually abused by a gym teacher, or I'm not making that up. Every day we look at the news. There is so many things happening everywhere. If you don't communicate and with your child, you won't see it coming. One day you're gonna wake up, you're gonna open the door of their room, and they're gonna be gone. And you're gonna open the closet, they're gonna take your backpack and clothes and gone. Why? Because they have a boyfriend who's 16 years old, he has a car, and they decide to run away. Or even worse, she met somebody online, much older than her. If it's a young girl, she's 16 years old, met this guy, he's 30 years old, he has money, he's good looking, he has well spoken and everything. And then before you know it, she disappears because this guy is human trafficking recruiter, and he's gonna take her to the mall, buy her jewelry, buy her clothes, take her in the hotel, and they're gonna start drugging her. And before you know it, she's gonna be prostituting herself just because she needs the drug, that they're gonna start to drug her. And this is human trafficking. This is what happens every day.
What is the average? What is the number of people missing out that are presumably sex slaves?
Sex slave, it's huge. It's a $billion industry today. Okay, sex slave, it's pedophilia, it's child, it's young girls. You have to understand, 16 years old, in certain country, it's legal to have sex with a 16 years old. In US, it's illegal. It's pedophilia. You become a sex offender. You go to France. It's a beautiful country, very modern and everything. It's okay. It's okay to, you 18, 20 or 25 years old, you have a girlfriend, 16 years old, it's okay. It's not a problem. Unless the parents are not okay, but if the parents are okay with that, it's okay. But it's not a crime. Certain country, you go to Venezuela, you go to Colombia, 13, 14 years old, girls are getting married and they have kids having kids. In US, it's not the case. Thank God. This is great because, 16 years old girl, how she can know about life and create a family and having a relationship with another man. It's not really a good start.
So there is a lot of social engineering happening with this teenager before is kidnapped to become a sex slave.
Of course.
There is somebody behind that is kind of like sweetening this whole situation gradually,
Yes,
right?
yes. There is men's good-looking guys, with a nice car, nice watches, and go around and looking for those girls. And some are very vulnerable because they're not happy at home, so the only thing they want to escape. So they're creating an escape door for them, and a lot of them goes for it, and they start to spoil the girls, buy clothes, handbag, this, that, jewelry and cell phone, accessories, and then that's the trap. And then when they close the door, it's too late, and it's bad because what they do, they drug them with heroin or very strong drugs. The heroin process it's as long as you have the drug in your system, you feel good. You feel, I mean, I don't know, I never used it, but I study the effect regarding this with human trafficking cases. They are in peace. And as soon as they're missing the drug, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare for them. So at that point, as long as you provide them the heroin to drug them, they will do anything for it. So they will prostitute themselves, of course, and they will have sex with men, and sometimes 10 different men in one day or in few hours.
We're talking about teenagers.
Yeah, we're talking about young girl. It's not only teenager. It could be also 20 years old, a good-looking girl. I mean, but it's easier to go after a young, underage girl because they are more naive. They believe things a little more. They have no experience of whatsoever what's going on. So they are more sensitive to go for it, and they disappear, and parents never find them. A lot of them died by overdose, or they got killed because crazy guy beat them up, or things like that. For them, it's human trafficking. They're just like a tool to make money. Okay, and when the tool is broken, they're gonna throw it away and get a new one. That's how it.
I like where this is going because we are not focusing on cases where they're gone. We are focusing on proactively fix the situation before it happens.
Yes, that's very important. That's why those predators, when they look for those kind of young girls, they go to the most vulnerable. Okay? If you have a very strong communication with your child, that you have a strong connection as well, they will escape this situation because there's no room for that, okay?
Correct. They have the basis.
They want to go home to see you. They want to go home and sit with you. The opposite is they don't want to go home because when they arrive, they go to their room and then you're screaming at them because you did your homework, you did that, you didn't take the trash out, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I mean, every day they got the parents, blah, 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 because parents is not happy, because the parents are getting divorced, because the parents has problem at work, or the father lost his job and he need to find out a job. And I mean,
he's overwhelmed.
There's life situation that's why family-oriented is very strong. It's funny because we were talking about if I speak, I'm going to talk about politics a little bit, but I don't want to talk about politics because if I talk about politics, YouTube might censor the video. I mean, for different reasons. But it's funny because look, we're talking about the president of Mexico. She was talking to the president of the United States. They were talking about fentanyl crisis in US, and it was in the news. I heard the conversation, and the president of the United States say, well, you don't have any problem with fentanyl in your country. And how come you don't have, junkie in the street, people, drug addict, like we have in California, like we have in Los Angeles, like we have in San Francisco, like we have in New York. We have so many drug addicts from fentanyl and other drugs. And she said, no, we don't have, because Mexican are very family oriented. She said that. I say, wow, that's great. That means something. That doesn't mean that all American people are not family oriented. Yes, they are. But a lot of people here in this country, unfortunately, they're losing value of the real term of family.
There's a disconnect.
They are disconnected because I guess they're chasing about some other things in life. But me personally, family is the most important thing for me. And the president of Mexico said, because Mexicans are very family oriented. And it's true, they are. Because my wife, she's from Mexico. And I see how the family in Mexico are very together. They love to be together. They have dinner together, celebrating every event. They're very close to each other. And I'm from France. I'm very close to my family also. In Europe, in France, we're a close family. I have 4 sisters, and we talk every day. We talk. And I live here, and they live in France. We talk every day. So this is something that if you don't have a family relationship, you might lose
Grounds.
You might lose member of your family because they are going to get disconnected from you. And family is the root. And what's root do? It's to ground you to the ground. Understand? And it is important. For me, I think it's very important. Miss running away, a teenager running away, it start with the family. And unfortunately, I got the call from somebody because the child is already gone. And that's a big problem.
To our viewers, if you feel that you are disconnected, you can always reconnect. You are in control of your relationship with your child. It's a must, it's a blessing, it's a gift. And you should be paying attention to all the signals around your child.
Yes, absolutely. And it's hard too, because we have our problems, as adults, as parents, we have issues. We have to pay that bills. We have to do this. We have to do that. My boss, this, but number one, family. That's very important.
I'm going to say something that is going to be a little bit out of the scope of what we're discussing, but the story with Pablo Escobar, the reason this is my theory. The reason why they got Pablo Escobar is because of the love, the tremendous love that he felt for his daughter and his son. He couldn't, with all the billions of bills, he chose to be blocks away from where his daughter was.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't run away because he couldn't bear the pain of not being close to them.
Of course.
And so that tells you that when people say, hey, I don't have time, or I just don't have other priorities. There's no other priority than your child, because the risk can be tremendous. There's a lot of predators. There's a lot of people out there that are looking, and there is a responsibility that everybody has.
You have to know where your kids are at every time. You have to have their location. They have a cell phone, you get the location. You know where they are. You know exactly at every time where they are. You have to tell them, you come home at this time. You do this, you do that, you do your chore, you have to tell them. Some cases, children are more easier than others. I know kids there, like I have an example. I have 2 sons. One of my sons, I never had to tell him to do his homework. He was super responsible. He come home, the first thing he does, before even eating something, he was doing his homework. Fast, but done. Straight A student all the time. Number one. He graduated from high school with a GPA of 5.4, which is pretty good. And I have another son who is different. He's gifted as well, very smart, but different character. So I'm not going to react the same way with my older son than my younger son, because they're different. The youngest one, I had to be behind him to do his homework. He was manipulating me to tell me, oh, no, I didn't do it because the teacher we have time and this and that. So he was all the time an excuse to justify it. So I was working with him, and it's a different game. Some child are very easy, some child are challenging, but you have to watch them as well. Don't give up, and everything's going to be okay.
I like what you're saying, because there's no more the excuse that I don't have a way to track my child down.
Today, no. With technology, you can track them everywhere. You can get them a smartwatch. You have their location at every time. They have a cell phone, you have their location at every time. You can do so many things. You can even watch, they have a cell phone, you can install a special app to watch and supervise their text messages, email, phone number, conversation. You can listen everything. I know it's a little bit too stalker-like situation, but I had clients, they had an app in their son or children, and they find out that they were taking like a drug to there is a new drug in school to keep you awake and very addicted.
There are other
It's medicine that
stimulant
and this and that. So it's a very bad habit because addiction starts with that. Okay, and you don't need that. You need 8 hours of sleep. That's what you need.
That's correct.
Okay, you don't need to take some special vitamin to open your mind and be more focusing in school. I'm sorry, it's BS. Okay,
that's correct.
Go to bed at 8-9 o'clock and have 8 hours of sleep.
That's the most powerful recovery.
And this is the best thing that you're going to get to be good at school, because you're going to have all the energy to face your day. But she was monitoring the messages and she was seeing that her daughter was buying stuff. She was also monitoring photos, okay, and text messages between her and her friend. And she found out that her daughter, she was like 14, 15, 16, like 14 years old. Like she was 14. And she found out, she told me, say, oh, Victor, you don't know what I found. I say, what happened? I think, okay. No. She's taking a special drug to focus in school. And she exchanged photos of her naked with other guy in the school. I say, well, that's a problem.
That is.
Because she's 14, 15, she's a good-looking girl. And, at 15, 16, a lot of young girls look like, a woman almost. So it's very, very disturbing. And she was sending to a boyfriend her naked body, and the guy was sending things like that. And this is a toxic situation.
Correct.
Okay. And I know that's very embarrassing for the parents, because now I have a problem. How I'm going to tell my kids that I know she's sending naked photo of her to a young boy? That's a very difficult situation. So this is why you need to look and have communication. This is a self-esteem, respect. So you need to teach that to your daughter, to say, be careful what you're doing today. Everything is exposed. At one point, thing can be coming up. Do not send photo of you, of your body. Be careful when you write something on social media, because maybe that can affect something, another situation. So everybody's watching today. Everybody's watching.
I understand that with technology, you help some of your clients to enhance the digital footprint on their kids, to be able to know what kind of social media accounts they have open that parents don't know. Yeah. Because sometimes the kids say, well, you as a parent, you might be monitoring one account that you think that your kid has, but many we have discovered that they have some other accounts in social media. And that's why through technology, I believe you help these clients to.
Yes, we can, your child has an email, so they start to have an email address. So we run the footprint, social footprint of this email address, names and everything. And then we can see where this email and names is being associated to any social media. Okay. And then we can monitor, and we can even see who's following them.
That's very interesting.
So we find out that she's been followed. She's 14 years old. She's been followed by a 40 years old, 45 years old man. So that's a red flag. Those people are predators.
Absolutely.
Okay. So this is something we need to watch. I follow some organization that they are looking and trapping and monitoring a child predator. And they do that. They are building, a specific profile on social media and going there and waiting, fishing.
Luring.
They're luring, fishing, and guess what? Every time they catch a big fish, those men, 50, 60, 40, whatever, they go after 12 years old, 13 years old. And they know they are 12, 13, 14, and they trap them, having conversation. They have, of course, everything is in writing, so they have evidence, exchanges of messages and photos, naked photos, sexual part photos, and all stuff. And then the meeting. They're meeting somewhere. They're meeting in a coffee shop, Starbucks, like fast food. Most of the time it's fast food restaurant, because kids love McDo. They love those places. So, and they meet. And of course, what's coming there, it's not a young girl. I mean, there's a young girl. Maybe sometimes they have a young dress girl look very young, but she's 20 years old. And the police is there to pick them up because this is a crime. You don't even have to touch the child. Just to have the intent to have, a relationship with them, it's a crime.
But I think it's very powerful what you describe on your digital footprint technology, that you can map a 40-year-old or 50-year-old man who is following your 13, 14, 15-year-old girl.
Yes.
That is incredibly powerful because to all the parents, you have the capability to go beyond what the phone of your child is giving you while you're monitoring.
Exactly. And this is very important too, because when we talk about it, some people say, but well, what are you talking about? My daughter? No, she will never do that. It's not her fault.
Correct.
Sometimes we think that kids are doing things in purpose to do something wrong, but it's not their fault. Unfortunately, they live in the world today that everything is social media. Everything is a good-looking appearance. Everything showing good, showing beautiful, showing fun. You want to show up in front of other people. You want to create your audience. It's not their fault. It's the system. But you have to be aware that when you have your 13 or 14 years old child in the world of social media, platform social media, they're exposing them to the world. When I say the world, it's everywhere. Don't think that it's only a 14, 15 years old kid looking at your daughter profile. It's not true.
Absolutely not.
So you're exposing, you're throwing yourself there.
For sure. You don't have to tell me, but I picked on the conversation that you had with the police officer that you were having the other day. And you guys were discussing a few things that you don't have to tell me, but I know that with AI, you're working heavily with AI to recognize the image of people who potentially are missing, and you can collaborate and work to use the technology to find out faster.
Face recognition.
Okay.
Look, it's very strong system now. Now we have face recognition. It's unbelievable. They can, even if you do hide your facial, they can really, it's very, very on top. Okay, I would say it's 99.9% accurate, because there's always the exception, but it's very rare. I was talking to some law enforcement agency, and then we wanted to. I was exposing the way I try sometimes to look for a missing child, and what I do, I go on with a face recognition system. I go on those prostitution website online. There is a lot. There is a lot of platform online from all over the world. It's not only US, because in Europe and everywhere. And what we try to do, and I'm working on that, something that I have because human trafficking, it's everywhere. And the child who disappeared when he was 13 years old, and now she's 18, and she's been a slave worker for a few years. With the face recognition, we can find her, okay? We can find that person down the road, all over the world. Predator and all those people in charge of human trafficking, kidnapping, they're using those child to make money. For them, it's a product, okay? Sex slave, so they have to promote the product, okay? We're going to talk like that because I don't like to talk about this that way, but it's the best way to explain the situation. For them, it's a business, okay? This business needs to be promoted. So when they promote the business a lot of time through those websites, database. They have so many websites. So we run those profile photo through our face recognition and with a match of a missing child. And, if we can create a database, that's my idea. If we can create a database of missing teenager and have them in our database and run those faces through those website or platform, if we can save or if we can locate one or two of those missing person, victim of slavery, sex slavery, it's fantastic. Okay. And because it is, you go online, you you go anything, you do escort, whatever, and
Correct.
there is so many platforms. In US, it's insane. In Europe, it's insane. You go to Africa, it's even worse. You go to Asia, see, same thing. And I say nationwide and international because a lot of kids has been kidnapped in US. They end up in another country, in Europe, another continent. You never ever hear anything about them. Eh?
I think I'm an advocate of ethical AI that empowers humanity.
Yeah.
I am an advocate for that. And I think it's very powerful what you're proposing because what you are...
I want to create these things. Like I want to actually, we are working on something like that, but we want to elaborate it. Then we can, you go to Walmart, go to Walmart. You have a wall. This is a scary situation, okay? You go to a supermarket to buy food and you have a board, a big panel board showing 100 of missing child.
That's incredible.
Listen, where I'm coming from, we don't have that. You go to France, you go to a supermarket, you don't see that. You don't see that. You see advertisement for food, for pâté, cold, cheese, wine. Rillette.
C'est ma favorite.
So you see food advertised, but then you go to Walmart, you go to Publix, same thing. You go to Winn-Dixie. I mean, I can name all the grocery store in US. And what you see first, missing, 13 years old, this, missing 3 years ago, or 3 years ago, 10 years ago. Facial recognition doesn't lie. We can recover the facial of the child few years after his disparition. It's not a problem. We need to create a database. And look, I'm talking about that right now, and it might be already created, maybe, and I'm sure, and I won't be surprised, law enforcement or association of missing persons already have these products. Me personally, I will love to have it in my agency to help people to find their missing person. And, with technology, AI now, it's not going to take a long time to run a database through the net. And we can run a database to the dark web too, because we don't talk about the dark and deep web. The human trafficking is mainly based on the dark web. There is selling people for slavery through the dark web. There is photos, there is videos, there is data that we can trace with this kind of research. And we might be able to find them. That doesn't mean we can find them in the deep or the regular web, a commercial web. Maybe not, but they may be probably there for sale on the dark web to a group of human trafficking in Europe. You understand?
Correct.
So it's never too late. Then at that point, you find somebody, you can start to be doing some undercover investigation and trying to find the source and work with Interpol. You understand? Everything is possible.
So the technology is at a point where your ideal is doable. They can integrate databases where they can connect with CCTV systems in the world. And in a matter of minutes, down a facial recognition, somebody who has been missing for 48 hours. Needs to happen is leaders to sit down and to put this database across to integrate and to work together.
Yes, and that's also the problem. It has to be used for the right cause. Correct. You understand? I mean, you cannot be using that because you want to find out where is your neighborhood. Okay, sure. No, that's a violation of privacy. I don't think. But for this kind of things, you can have a watchdog. With a watchdog, it's something that you put in the system and you wait, and when the face recognition come up, and then we have an alert. And then we say, we find it.
Correct.
It was in the system to be looked at. This is something you can improve, and that's great. I know that some federal agency, they use facial recognition with CCTV camera everywhere. I mean, in the street, red light, everywhere. Today, there is more camera than, in China, they say there is more camera in China than Chinese people. It's crazy, which knowing that China is the number one population, the largest population in the world. It's possible. I'm 100% we can do it. To fight the human trafficking, like today, like I say, the dark web, deep web, that's where they are putting those people for sale or for,
Serious
sex trafficking services or whatever. And then we can look at it. We can recognize, we can do some undercover, we can use law enforcement agency and tell them, hey, we have a match, we have this, we find this, and they take it over from there. We don't have to do the job. The law enforcement can do it, but we can help them to uncover the truth.
Clearly, this is an episode that it has run more than an hour, and we can cover. I mean, it's so fascinated for the sake of the betterment of humanity, for the sake of helping the families that are suffering from this epidemic of sex slavery and missing people. We can go on, and I would like to request from you that we do a part 2 and part 3 of this.
Yeah, of course.
Because there is so much that we can talk about. And I guess with what you're doing and what a private investigator can do to help these families,
sure,
it's tremendous. It's tremendous, and they need to know this.
And then we have so many stories that we can find people, and the reunions. It's so nice because sometimes they don't even know. I find people, after years they were looking for each other. They were a family member, and they were close to each other. They were like not 2 miles away from each other, and they never find each other. So we help them, we connect the dots, and we talk, we look, we ask questions. You understand? We think out of the box.
For sure.
And that's how we work, okay?
So what are you going to talk to us next episode?
We're going to talk about that too, because I want to follow up with another episode for this kind of things. We're going to talk about the phenomenon of human trafficking. I like to talk a little more about the human trafficking, and everybody think that it happens only to other people, but trust me, it's everywhere. There is some numbers, you'll be surprised how many people disappear, and they are big victim of human trafficking today in United States.
It's time we work together, we grow together, we stop this epidemic. Victor, I appreciate you talking about this opportunity, this episode.
Yes.
It means a lot to me.
And I can't wait to talk about it with more detail and to help people to understand, to see the red flag, especially for their child.
You heard it from the man. Don't miss the next episode. We are going to make this special for you. We're here to help. Victor, until then,
thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.